I'm Adam Mock, a 40-something-year-old film critic, and we just watched a movie that's dumb, 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 dumb.
I'm Melanie Weir, a 26-year-old former theater major, and I only half watched this movie.
Welcome to Sucktember, folks, on Made You Watch
A podcast.
Welcome back to Made You Watch a Podcast, and while we were celebrating terrible films for Sucktember, it was my turn after Mel made me watch Cats last week.
I deserved this.
I chose to go back to the well of early episodes when we did Speed and do the sequel, and just finish it off with Speed 2, Cruise Control. Oh, wow. Now, we've already watched this. Mm-hmm. I'm looking in Mel's eyes, and they are just dead to the world right now.
This was so bad. When I said I only half paid attention, it's because I didn't have to pay attention because none of it made sense anyway.
No,
there was no reason to be invested in the film in the first place. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. There's no reason this movie should exist. I mean...
Keanu Reeves said no. That should have been the end of the story, because the thing is, I don't care. All that's left is to care about Sandra Bullock or Drew or whoever getting our driver's license.
Instead, we get Jason Patrick, who kind of looks like Diedrich Bader's stand-in. Like, I've never noticed it before because he's not in a lot of movies these days. He looks like Diedrich Bader. Like, it was, you know who Diedrich Bader is?
No.
American Housewife. He's the dad on that. He was on the Drew Carey Show. Batman the Brave and the Bold. He plays Batman. He plays Batman on Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy. There you go. Big head.
Oh, I can picture him.
Yeah.
Which is weird because
take Jason Patrick and make him a little funnier. And yeah, got you. And let me. I've talked to Diedrich Bader on Twitter. He's awesome.
I'm sure he is.
I would rather have Diedrich Bader taken over for Keanu Reeves.
Hey, it seems like a cool guy. It's just like I don't care if Sandra Bullock passes her driving test.
Oh, man.
And their relationship would have been the one thing to be invested in. Also, Keanu Reeves was a saving grace in that movie because he had that dry, and it... I can't even pick apart what about this was bad, because it all was.
You know what? We're just going to skip right to the trailer and then let you guys get acclimated, and we will be right back.
Hello.
Mr. Kenter!
Oh, you're back again.
Yeah, I wanted to make up for last week. Sorry, Mr. Kenter, but that bus was going way too fast.
Boyfriend drive like this.
Oh, Alex, no. Alex is so completely different.
You are officially on vacation.
I was going to surprise you tonight, but it's a cruise. Caribbean.
Since we last saw Annie, some things have changed.
This almost seems too perfect, doesn't it?
Some things
Want me to step on your feet?
haven't.
Swear I am never leaving the house again.
Now they can't change course.
Seems odd.
Yes, it is odd. They're abandoning ship in the middle of the night.
They can't stop.
Melly PD. Your what? Somebody find the captain.
And they can't
The captain is dead.
get off.
Who is running the ship? Oh, yeah. I am. A position charges throughout the ship.
Where is he?
He's everywhere.
I've been in worse situations than this, and panicking does not help. Trust me.
I know who you are.
I know you too. Are you gonna stop me now, my friend?
That was odd.
What kind of cop are you? You're gonna get us all killed.
This summer,
He's taking us right into an oil tanker.
Welcome back, and damn, this movie is awful. This movie is one of those wrong-headed sequels like Legally Blonde 2.
Why did you do this?
Because
Why was it done?
there were a few reasons, actually. I think, one, the first one made so much money, and Jan de Bont, the director, was on board for it, so they're like, he'll do anything. Go for it. He made Twister. Let's do this. And they also gave Sandra Bullock, if she did it, they were going to fund a movie called Hope Floats, which was like a passion project.
Didn't that do terribly?
It did okay. It wasn't anything like, You ever heard of it?
I've heard of it. I don't know.
Did you ever see it?
No.
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
It wasn't. I don't think it was marketed towards me at the time when it came out.
No, it's a woman going back home and falling in love with some guy from a hometown played by Harry Connick Jr.
I'm sure that's fine.
I think that's what it's about. Jason Patric, he signed on because Keanu was, I think, on The Devil's Advocate at the time, and he couldn't do. So he was working with Pacino. He went from it was either Defoe or Pacino. He's like, I'll go with Pacino.
And
Thanks.
What with
And then Jason Patric said he'd do this movie if there were severe script changes. He shows up 3 months later on set. Not a thing was changed, but he was contractually obligated to make this movie. And he said it was the most miserable experience he's ever been on.
If I were him, I would have made sure I got that in writing.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
clearly it wasn't, or else he
No.
wouldn't have been contractually obligated
but
to
he
continue.
wasn't. Jason Patric, I mean, he was like in Sleepers, which is a really great drama with Brad Pitt and Jason Bateman. Not Jason Bateman.
Jason Sudeikis.
Bacon. Kevin Bacon. I had to think about it. Kevin Bacon. It's a messed up movie about like a bunch of kids who go to a really abusive juvie. But it's a great movie. It's like the last time I think I remember Jason Patric in something. He just never. I think he was almost Superman at one point.
I think he was almost Superman.
I want to say, and I think Nick Cage got it instead. And then Nick Cage's Superman fell through with Tim Burton.
I forgot that ever happened.
Oh, the video for it is amazing. Watching him in that stupid costume that's all electrified.
Who thought?
Tim Burton. Tim Burton thought it was a Tim Burton movie.
Clark Kent.
Yeah, Clark Kent. Clark Kent, Lois. That would have been so fucking stupid. But I want it in a weird way.
I want to see it.
I want it in such
It's a bad idea. I've
Yeah.
gotten to the point in my life where I just want to see things that are made terribly to like make me feel more human.
Well, that's
I think.
why we're here right now, because we're going to talk about Speed 2
The
Cruise
thing is,
Control.
when we're actually watching them, I'm like, I understand why we classify these things as terrible and don't watch them.
It's
I like
fun
hearing
in-
about the concepts. I love when people make supercuts of
Yeah,
bad things.
it's fun in theory. That's all this is. It's fun
I
in
guess
theory.
that's what we're doing. Here's your supercut of the bad movie, so
So-
you can find the pieces that you want to watch.
So
that are
let's
bad.
get into what this movie's about so that we can just make fun of it right away. Sandra Bullock plays Annie, the girl from the first movie who drove the bus. Now she's taking a driving test with who's that guy? I always forget his name. Hold on,
It's Jess.
Tim Conway from the Carol Burnett Show. Old school comedian, and
My parents really like that show.
He's the driving instructor. That show's brilliant. He's the driving instructor, and she's, running into glass trucks. She's hitting bumps. The test,
why didn't he stop her? The test would have stopped the first time she hit something.
and the only reason it's there is to make you think about how good the original movie was, just seeing Sandra Bullock behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Yeah.
And it was also to explain why she broke up with Jack from the first movie, played by Keanu Reeves. So Keanu Reeves and her broke up because it was too intense dating a cop on the Suicide Squad. And she said things, really stupid things like, he gave me mace as a gift, and I mistook it for perfume and maced myself. Dude, does Chanel make mace? Like, is there mace in
the
a
bottoms
crystal
don't
bottle?
look similar. Well,
Simulated.
the bottoms don't look.
Similar? Simular?
The bottoms.
I love it.
Let me just say what I almost said.
Go
The
for it.
bottoms don't look simulator. The bottles don't look similar.
No.
A. And B.
Sandra,
He was too much of a human being to have done that. You nerfed his character in the first 3 lines.
Sandra Bullock has the same problem Elle has in the next Legally Blonde
Yeah.
movie, is they made her stupid.
They made her so dumb.
Before, she was just kind of like manic pixie dream girl energy. Like, the worst thing she'd do is drop her coffee and be like, oops, In this, she's a babbling moron. It's embarrassing on every
She's like,
level.
oh, sorry, because the people who made the original made her like, she was cute and somewhat clumsy, but like a real person.
And her
woman
energy,
with ADHD energy.
And her-
then in the
yeah.
second one,
and her energy worked off of Keanu Reeves' like blandness.
Yeah. And then in the second one, she's just kind of crazy and off the wall. And she's like, oh my God, is the chainsaw still running? Haha, sorry, oops. Like, they're just like, it's like an outsider person who's never spoken to a woman before's view of like what a crazy woman is like.
So Jason Patric works on the Suicide Squad, and she doesn't know it. She thinks he's a Venice bike cop, and He's been lying to her. He only does that on weekends for a buddy of his when he needs a fill-in.
Darling, A, it seems like you attract a certain type of woman, and B...
Man.
Whoa. And B, the second I found out he lied to me about his job, I would have raised like 5 red flags. Why is she so cool about this?
And the way she finds out, he's chasing a truck full of computers, which they
The
cause...
stakes in this movie could not be lower.
They cause more damage than those computers were worth. And he crashes a motorcycle into it. Mac is back, the chief.
Yeah, for some reason.
For like 2 seconds, he's like, don't do anything stupid, blah, blah, blah.
Carly
And
turned around and she said, all of these like 90s action movies are like white man power fantasy where it's like, don't break the rules, except break the rules, but we're gonna yell at you.
Because you got to save the day. You got to break the rules to save the day. And that is the biggest problem with this movie.
Like, you didn't. Those computers, the way they were chasing them, there was a whole SWAT team dedicated to stopping them on the side of a cliff. People could have died.
The truck goes
I was like,
off
was
a
there
cliff.
important information in those computers?
The truck goes off. No, they were just stolen
No,
property.
he robbed a Dell store.
Pretty much. And it goes down a hill and destroys half of the fucking computers. And so that she crashes her car near them during her driving test. So that's how she finds out, is she's such a bad driver and he's such a maniac, they almost get into an accident with each other during his high-speed chase, and that's how she finds out. He pulls out tickets to a cruise and says, will this make it up? Because, you just have those on you. And then they go on a cruise. And they go on a cruise to make...
And it's that simple. There's no conversation.
He's got a ring, and he's not sure if he should give it to her. And
We just met these people.
literally, they throw you in... Well, we knew Sandra, but not
do
this
we?
Sandra. This is stupid.
This
like
is lobotomized Sandra.
This is
There's something I like to call the sequel lobotomy that they give to female characters.
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you.
That's really good, actually.
They give to female characters in sequels because the people writing the sequels don't care about the female characters. They barely care about the male characters or the characters at all.
Yeah. And so they get on the ship, and you meet everybody. You meet Davon or something. I don't know. They all have, like, stupid names.
Yeah. I don't remember anyone's name.
Nor should you.
Alex, that's it.
Like, let's see. Willem Dafoe comes on. He's John Geiger. He's the bad guy.
His acting's great.
He's Willem Dafoe.
He is the saving grace of this shit.
He knows what he's in, and he is getting a paycheck. Mm-hmm. Because he just didn't care. He looked good. That hair was...
He kind of looked like skinny young Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, yeah.
He
Like, if you were buff.
Yeah, and they had that just kind of like the weird little wrinkles right in the right places.
They could be like weird twins.
Oh, God.
A different kind of weird twins.
And his story is he used to work for the company who builds these ships.
This is so dumb.
This is the stupidest story ever. He got copper poisoning.
Not a thing.
Blood poisoning from working with the computers too long because he was working on like basically their entire electronic system.
What the shit?
He basically made the ship an autonomous thing that
Maybe
you just push a
that's
button
what's wrong with the world today, Adam. We all keep computers in our back pockets all the time, and we
Goddamn.
all have this insane blood poisoning. We should all be sitting in bathtubs full of leeches, which Willem Dafoe's character does every
leeches.
goddamn night in this country. If you use a smartphone, you need to buy leeches.
He brings leeches on the ship. He's putting them on his body. That's how he drains the copper out of his system. He has like 2 years to live. They're having a diamond show.
He has 2 years to live because he's draining his own blood every night. Yeah. This man is crazy, and I don't mean that in the insulting way. I mean that in the
he's
clinical, he needs psychiatric help way.
The copper went to his brain. And so his plan is he has this golf bag, and he unscrews the heads to the golf clubs, and there's little, like, computers in them. And then he has a bunch of golf balls that are actually just sulfur, so it smells like there's a fire. So he hooks the head to the golf ball, throws them in the air ducts. The sulfur smells like fire, evidently, and that's the premise. He's going
You're
to
explaining so many things that were unclear when
He's
they were
going
happening.
to basically evacuate the boat. He'll be the only one on it. He'll take all the diamonds from the diamond show.
Because that's important. There's a diamond show on the cruise ship.
Because basically the cruise line fired him for being sick and then just used his plans and his designs, which is kind of illegal.
Shitty.
It would probably...
And illegal.
I don't know. What year was this? It was 97, so maybe companies could still do that shit. Just fire you like that? I don't know. Guess he had bad insurance.
I don't even believe that the rules still like exist as strongly as they do now, because I've seen companies do some bullshit things that don't look like they should be legal. I don't think we're protected really.
So Sandra Bullock and Jason Patric, you meet everybody else through just sitting at dining room tables and walking around, and she meets Dafoe and they chat for a minute. Jason Patric's just a sour face this whole actually he's a stone face this whole movie. The guy doesn't make an expression.
Because why would he? The movie's bad.
And you can tell he hates being in this movie.
He didn't get what he was asked for, so they don't get what they asked for.
No.
They said they would do rewrites, and they didn't really do it. He said he would act, and he didn't really do it.
Yeah.
He quiet quit the role.
He quiet quit. That's true. So you also meet Tamora Morrison from Book of Boba Fett.
Sure.
Boba Fett. He was the guy who was with the New Zealand accent who was working as one of the ship captains. The ship captain gets killed.
I love the Scottish accent guy.
Oh, Marced?
Yeah.
Brian McCarty?
0 knots.
0 knots!
That was good.
You're going 18 knots! And
You sound like Uncle Scrooge.
Press me bagpipes, please! We're going to 18 knots!
That was beautiful.
Sorry, Uncle Scrooge.
DuckTales. Ooh.
See, we're already talking about other shit.
Have you watched the modern DuckTales?
I watched half of it.
Okay.
I haven't got a chance to finish.
My roommates are really,
I'm
really
actively
into it.
I do enjoy it because I like the original a lot and I like David Tennant. Willem Dafoe's going to hijack the boat, get everybody off the boat, and then drive the boat into a oil tanker. He's just going to basically set the cruise control, hit the autopilot, drive it into an oil tanker, destroy the boat, and get away with the diamonds.
Why? Why does he have to crash the boat?
It's just a final fuck you. I think it's just a big fuck you and an excuse to have that terrible ending.
That's a weak sauce explanation, but I'll accept it.
So the movie, it doesn't start right away, but it kind of does. It's so goddamn all over the place.
It's because the plot doesn't make any sense. It's not following a structure.
The plot's dumb as shit. Can we talk about the deaf girl?
She was cute. Why was she there?
Drew, the only kid on the boat.
She was just there to be an extra problem. I thought this was going to be an inclusivity thing, and she was going to help. Either that, or they were setting her up to like kill her or kidnap her to make us feel sad. It was neither of those things.
But you don't need kill or kidnap bait. You have Sandra. That's what Sandy's for. She's the kidnap bait.
I thought like they were giving her a turn to be something.
It was more that they wanted a character that he was kind of constantly have to try to save on the boat, and Sandra's is the damsel. She's the final girl, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because remember the little girl. Her father calls her a clown because she doesn't like her outfit because the father's a dick, and she wanders off, gets locked in an elevator.
None of it makes any sense.
And then she goes
down. The people
down.
who wrote this movie have never met another human being.
She goes down to the sump pump room or something where they're going to flood it to make the boat get heavier so the boat will slow down. Because they can't release the lifeboats unless the boat is stopped. And they can't stop the boat because Dafoe has control over it.
You bet.
And none of it makes sense. Because, dude, you want everybody off the goddamn boat. And then Jason Patric decides to put his fucking nose into everything. And he actually makes the situation exponentially worse with every decision he makes. First, he decides, no, I'm not going to listen to get on the lifeboat. What are you, crazy? That's stupid. I'm going to help everybody get off the lifeboats that are now falling and blah, blah, blah. And, like, he's causing panic amongst everybody. He's like, no, there's a bad guy in the boat. I know it. Why? Because I'm a cop. I have instinct, and I always trust my instinct. Then he says he's going to flood that room. The little girl's in it, so now he has to go down and save her.
Yeah, so much for your instincts.
Then he's like constantly bossing around all the captains.
Oh no, my cop senses are tingling. Get out of here.
Then he's bossing around the ship, like basically the people in charge. There's no security on this boat. I always assume they had a brig and stuff. I mean, people get wild on boats.
Imagine getting sent to cruise ship jail.
Oh yeah, I could imagine. I want to know what it's like.
That's like the ultimate low.
Yeah.
If you've been sent to cruise ship jail, DM us. We want to hear your story.
That or Disney jail.
That's true.
I've heard stories about Disney jail.
I don't even know if I'd blame you if you were in Disney jail. I'd have to hear your story.
There's like a painting of like Mickey on the wall, and it's like, haha, you did something wrong. It's so fucked up. And you don't know what they do to you down there. Disney's a dark place.
What are you implying?
I don't know.
They mine your brain for imagination.
I don't know. I can't imagine Disney jail being that kosher. It's got to be a little creepy down there.
Here's the thing. Disney World itself doesn't creep me out. The people, I think of Disney executives and Disney, the artists and the people who want to make people happy.
Yeah.
They're very much, they're not completely separate. Like, obviously, there's some intermingling of the sentiments.
Back to Speed 2 Cruise Control.
I guess.
This movie's terrible. Oh my God.
Why is it called that? Oh my God, wait.
Because of Cruise.
Cruise.
Yeah.
Kill me.
And they had control. He had control of it. And it's 2 hours and 1 minute. Why? Because there's more endings than Lord of the Rings in this movie.
I walked out at one point to get a sandwich because I was so mad that it wasn't the end. And I finished my sandwich before the real ending.
Yeah. There's 3 to 4 endings to this movie. There's even a weird stinger to this movie.
Yeah, where does she get her license? I wasn't even paying attention. Good.
She crashes.
Yes, she
it
crashes.
ends with her crashing a car.
That's right, because I was
off
like,
screen.
This woman should never drive. Just move here. Move to New York. You don't have to drive. Take the subway everywhere. Yeah. Some people just aren't meant to.
They have subways in LA. They have buses. You can take the bus, Annie.
I've actually heard that the subways in LA are very nice.
The chances of someone hijacking a bus twice. Oh.
Stop. Don't go there. Don't. Knock wood. I don't know.
Because they're going to make Speed 3, that's why.
They're going to make Speed 3 or somebody's going to hijack a bus.
Jason Patrick basically just becomes big swinging dick in charge, telling everybody what to do. And he's just like, what do these buttons do? Make these buttons do something. And the guy's like, I can't just make... He goes, I just work in the room. I read numbers. I don't know what the buttons do.
But you read numbers so well, baby. 18 knots.
And then he says 0 at the end twice. He's like, 0.
He can't believe. I fully saw in this young man, this actor was good. I fully saw in his face that he was like, I didn't think I would survive to see the number 0. No. Ever again.
But the other plan that they had was Jason Patrick's going to go under the boat with some snorkeling, scuba gear, because that would stay on your face.
Sure.
Because now the boat is heading towards the oil tanker. They need to slow the boat down. You can't drop anchor because it'll just rip the anchor off, which they do later anyway, and it destroys shit.
It destroys a car. The dog is okay.
No, that's a different anchor.
The dog does not die. Holy shit.
It's a second anchor they destroy.
The dog doesn't die.
You can't kill dogs in movies.
Have you ever heard of the dog, doesthedogdie.com?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I've been there. I've heard of it for sure. So
it's a good idea.
We were really just jumping around because there's
no reason not to.
It's just nonsensical conversations with extras. One of which is, rest in peace, Mike Haggerty.
Oh.
He's the big dude.
Yeah.
He was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He was the chief. He was on Friends. He was, I believe,
the building, the
superintendent.
And he was in Overboard, which I saw when I was very
little.
little.
Yes, that's right. He died back in April, I believe.
Really? That recently? Oh, you know what? I think I remember that.
Yep. I was bummed.
I was with my parents at the time, I think.
He was a great character actor. He was in everything.
Yeah, oh my God, I love him. He's so funny.
Now, can we, thank God for Willem Dafoe in this.
Really? Willem Dafoe was like the saving grace of this film.
Him and Mike Haggerty.
Yeah.
Saving grace of this film. I mean...
I said it twice.
There's literally scenes where Sandra Bullock has a fucking chainsaw at one point.
They don't let Sandra Bullock be a good actor.
And she cuts a fire door open, and then people are like, can we come out? And she's revving it in their face. And she's
the guy has to say 3 times, maybe if you could move back the chainsaw.
Oh, sorry.
Like that's...
Oh.
Sequel lobotomy right there.
They've got 3 shotguns that they're just shooting willy-nilly all over the ship. I mean, what was Jess calling it? Stupid Titanic?
I believe that was me. I was calling it Stupid Titanic. I think I said that first. Like Stupid Watergate. Thank you, John Oliver.
Oh, it's an awful film. Oh, God. Where were we in this stupid movie?
Does it matter?
No, it doesn't. Because I'm going to jump right to the ending, or the 12 endings that are on this thing. So, ending 1, Willem Dafoe gets away with Annie.
Yeah.
Sandy Bullock on some ski-doos.
That's not the ending. That's the beginning of the ending.
No, that's the beginning of the ending. After Jason Patrick has just fed some cable and almost gotten sucked into a propeller underneath the ship.
Much like the scene underneath the bus in the first movie, except this time it was underwater and we couldn't see it.
Yeah. Oh, and then the deaf girl's parents almost kill somebody.
Her name's Drew.
Drew.
Yeah.
So the Drew's parents are looking for her. They're on the ship. They're on like all the dinghies. The mother freaks out, shakes the dinghy, and two
Yeah.
people fall out. They
Just
might be
into
dead.
the ocean. Probably
and the
dead.
dad goes, "It wasn't your fault." And I'm like, "Yeah, it fucking was. It was really that
At
actually."
white women who voted for Trump.
That's the definition of your fault. You did that.
So it's your fault.
Which is kind of like the old lady who gets blown up trying to get off the bus.
Yes.
There's
yes.
weird little things that they do.
They try to mirror story beats
The-
instead of trying to mirror themes.
The ski-doo thing is basically the subway scene. Because
was really-
and then he meets Toon Man
That's
and
what-
steals the guy's boat who her ex-boyfriend stole the Porsche from.
One
in
of
first
the only
movie.
things this movie gets points for is that guy says, "Man, I moved to the Caribbean to get away from y'all. You're from the LAPD. What are you doing here?" The cops followed a black man to the Caribbean. I don't blame you for feeling terrorized, sir. You just bought a condo here. That was your boat. The movie gets points because that guy was correct.
Oh, Toon Man.
American cops overstepping on black men once again.
Seriously.
That wasn't supposed to be a joke. Like, it was in the context of the movie, but also, like, that's a real
I don't
issue.
think I ever thought of it that way, and I'm like, holy shit.
I couldn't not. It was the first thing I thought. I was like, wow. You know, life imitates art. Art imitates life.
So, that's part of ending one, is Defoe's getting away with Annie.
That was the loudest swallow. I'm so sorry.
They're trying to slow the boat down, so there's basically nothing Jason Patrick can do for the next, 10 minutes.
Which,
Because it's just watching this boat, and he goes, oh, wait, we can turn the boat.
15 knots.
But they have to go underneath the bow and turn some things underwater, and then the boat will turn before it hits a tanker. But it does hit that tanker, and that stunt looks great. That stunt looked good.
I actually did. Like, you could tell kind of that it was like a green screen or like two screens smushed
Just
together.
barely,
but
though.
just barely, and only because it's in HD.
Yeah. So they scrape the side of the boat because they turn, but now they're headed straight for shore, a shore town.
And then there's just a little boy pointing out the window like, "Mommy, look how close that boat is getting."
And I believe that's Jan de Bont's actual son, Alex.
That's cute.
Which is the name of his Jason Patrick in this. Now that's happening. So now they have to worry about
Now
slowing
he's crying.
the boat even more. They drop the anchor. The anchor gets ripped off. But you would think when a cruise ship gets that close to a shore, it would run aground at some point.
Yeah.
And it doesn't?
Yeah, it just keeps kind of plowing into the land like there's no bedrock, like this
first-
town is sitting on sand.
First it plows into a bunch of tiny boats, and they're like, this is great, it's slowing us down.
Holy shit.
And they're like, we don't care that we've just destroyed millions of dollars worth of shit and probably killed 1,000 people.
Fuck property.
Yeah, and then the boat is just driving through town, and there's dumb jokes like there's a dog running away, and then it hides in a car that later gets hit by an anchor from the ship.
It really is a lot like Legally Blonde too.
There's a guy who has a closed sign that he flips it to open, and he sees the boat coming, he flips it back to closed. It's just dumb shit over and over again.
It's like, yeah, we know what images to put on a screen to make
Yeah.
a movie. It's like an advanced AI bot tried to make an action movie.
Kind of. Yeah, or a bunch of monkeys with typewriters. Because honestly, Jason Patrick if he wasn't on this ship, they would have just gotten everybody off, and the ship would have probably just crashed into an oil tanker. Maybe that would have happened. Who the hell knows?
It would have exploded. That would have been cool.
But he causes so much more damage than you would have
it's not
had
even fun to watch.
You would have had an ecological disaster, I'm sure.
Oh, I know. I'm speaking of for production value now, for the movie.
Yeah.
The ship crashing into an island was also not fun to watch. The boy pointing
No.
at the ship as it got closer was the only funny part.
It's getting bigger. Shut up, you dumbass. I mean, there's just people running. There's a lady on the phone going, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. And then she turns around and she goes, oh, there's a fucking cruise ship. It's just the most buffoonish action
Nothing
sequences.
like this has ever happened ever.
No, and the fact that your speed is literally around 20 miles an hour. 30 miles
Why
an
is the
hour.
movie called Speed?
It's just so dumb.
It should be called Nuts.
Nuts. Dun, 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 dun,
Nuts, 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 nuts.
No, it's not. No. That was fucking funny. At least with like Cats. Cats was so insane. You could talk about it. The action in this doesn't even make sense.
Like,
it's
there's not-
all over the fucking place.
I don't want to keep looking at the screen because the cuts are too fast, but also all the information is visual.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't want to watch... I straight up just don't want to watch the movie.
And you can't see what's going on in half of them because a lot of it takes place at night, outside, with, like, rain hitting
We're
them.
underwater!
So you can't actually see anything that's going on. They're shaking the shit out of the camera.
Yes.
I mean, like...
Because that was the only way to get a convincing shot, I'm sure, on what was actually a docked cruise ship.
Oh, it was terrible. Like, it was just a god-awful, like, experience. And the fact that it's 2 hours is...
It did not need to be.
It's
It
cool.
didn't need to be an hour and a half.
I mean, Speed...
It didn't need to be an hour. It didn't need to exist.
I think Speed was only, like, maybe an hour 40. I don't think Speed was
That
that
was
long.
a reasonable amount of time for an action movie. Action movies just don't need to be that long. There's not that much
You
happening.
know what? Most movies don't need... We're talking to you, Marvel. Most movies don't need to be over... Michael Bay. Most movies don't need to be over 2 hours.
I think if there's one thing this podcast has made me appreciate, it's how most movies don't need to be
Longer.
as long as they are.
No.
I appreciate, you know what? I appreciate how long The Batman was. I wish that they made an abridged cut for out of theaters.
I think they just should have released it in 2 parts. Like, back-to-back months.
That's an interesting model.
That way, you're...
Studios, wait!
Back to, like, would they release that in December? And then release the next one after...
It was spring, I think.
Was it spring? I thought it
don't
was in the
know.
wintertime.
Spring and winter kind of run together for me. All I know them as is depression season. Sure, March or
Whenever
February.
it came out.
It
just
came out.
Release it, and then release the other half the next month. It's...
It's so easy.
People
because
are
the thing
showing
is,
up.
You budget it like you're making one movie, right?
Yeah.
And then you're putting out 2 films. They figured out that this worked with the like Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2 model. Just put them closer together so people don't forget what's happening for
Yeah.
like a series that there's like no book for.
People are showing up for Batman.
People are gonna show up for a 2-part Batman movie.
Yeah,
I would show up. I will lick Matt Reeves' boots.
Oh, God, I didn't know where that was going.
He's so good. That movie was so good. I'm gonna pause it.
What do we got there, Mel?
Okay, literally the happy show
we're
and
back.
tell. Literally the other day, I was shopping for a Christmas present for my friend, and I got it because I'm not gonna say what it is on air in case he listens to it, but it was on a website, Box Lunch, that does Funko Pops. And then I bought one for myself because I had to, and then another one was on sale, and I got this. It's Selena Kyle.
Oh, shit.
And the Zoe Kravitz one was on sale,
adorable.
so she was on sale, so I bought her.
What else you got?
And they don't stand up on their own. That's the one thing about
It's
them.
them big heads.
And I got Elwoods.
Oh, my God. Oh, my... You got the Bikini Elwoods, too.
I got Elle's son. The one that I really want that I couldn't
Jesus
find.
Christ.
They have her in the bunny suit.
Oh, no. Really?
And I did love that costume.
Oh, my God. That is deep dive Funko. Good
She will
Lord.
not stand up on her own. She must stand up with the assistance of the airplane.
Don't do the second movie, dear. All
Quit
right.
while you're ahead, baby girl.
We should start wrapping this up.
No, we should. Then nothing else happens. What are the other endings?
Oh, the other endings are Willem Dafoe and her on twin ski-doos that she unhooks.
That was so stupid. That maybe was the stupidest part because, like, the control was right there. Her arms were accessible. What the fuck did he think was gonna happen?
But he still gets her back.
And then he was like, no, you stay with me. You're my hostage.
You gotta stay with me. You're my
And
hostage.
so the only reason she was leaving was because she didn't know how it was supposed to work.
Yeah. And then he takes her to a boat that's a pontoon boat waiting in the middle of the ocean.
Sure.
And that is when Jason Patrick's like, they stop the boat on a church and ring the bell.
Batman shirt. Okay.
They kill a car and almost a dog with the anchor. Some guy goes, "Oh, my car!" And he kind of looks like Peter Griffin.
And then the dog pops up. So the dog's okay.
And the dog's okay. And then they subtitle "Arf, Arf, Arf" because I don't know what dogs sound like. And then Jason Patrick shakes hands with Morrison and the Scottish guy, and he jumps off the boat, and he steals the dude from the first movie's boat, who he stole the Porsche from, And he's on a date with this girl, and she's just like...
It was going well.
And she's into it. She's like, woohoo! Go get
She's
him!
having a great time.
Jason Patrick
He's met his match. It's
grabs a harpoon gun, shoots the plane, gets winched onto the plane, breaks the pontoon off with Sandy Bullock. Then you get the ending of the movie where, remember in the first one, they slip out underneath the bus?
I do.
And then they skid out and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They do that on the pontoon. Mm-hmm. And then Willem Dafoe can't control the plane because it's unbalanced. And he wails into the... They still hit that goddamn ship.
Yeah, like
They
all
still
of the
hit
work
the
to
ship.
avoid because there has to be a spectacular disaster at
Which,
the end.
again, is caused by Jason Patrick. So he hits... Willem Dafoe basically hits a pole, and the plane's just kind of stuck on it like a shish kebab, and he's just watching sparks and gas and things shoot out, and he's like, I'm fucking dead. And then the ship just explodes, and Jason Patrick gets away, and then that's the end of the movie.
He gets no, wait, never
Yeah,
mind.
they
Jason
get away
Patrick
because
gets
the
away.
dude on-
I thought first hot sec my brain
The
was like
pontoon
Willem Dafoe gets away. I'm like, he escapes?
Yeah, the guy goes, oh,
Speed
what's he
4?
doing on
Speed
that
3?
pontoon? We got to go pick him up. And they pick him up and they bring him back. And they end up talking about getting married, I think. And,
Yeah.
and then you think the movie's over because they pan out and it says Jan de Bont, directed by, and you see the boat in the middle of the fucking city. But that's not the end. You heard the horn? Because you heard that horn outside. That's because Sandy Bullock is taking her driver's test a week later.
That's not allowed.
First
You have
off,
to wait so long.
it's not allowed. Secondly, you're not getting the same instructor. Tim Conway comes back. Thirdly,
I wouldn't get back in a car with her.
how much paperwork are you filling out from all the bullshit that your boyfriend went through?
You have time for this?
They're not letting you leave. You got splaining to do, and you'd probably be in the fucking hospital for a little while.
Yeah, like all of them have neck trauma, at least. Most of them probably have concussions.
Water in the lungs. I mean,
There's
smoke
a lot
inhalation.
of medical shit going
They're
on.
just deaf from having gunshot right next to your ear. It's a fucking mess. The movie is a goddamn mess.
It was like there was literally a period of time where people thought sequel equals create the exact same movie with the exact same characters with the same story beats. Instead of, hey, how does this work in real life? Oh yeah, life moves on to the next situation.
There's also two creep parts I want to talk about. One, he's talking to that little girl in sign language because he wanted to learn no language, so he learned sign language.
Which is cute at first before it goes somewhere weird and creepy.
Because she has the hots for Jason Patrick, and she goes, I'll be 15 in a month. And then earlier in the movie, Sandra Bullock is sitting with him in bed. He's throwing up from being seasick, and she's watching Lolita. The director got some problems. I think the director had
And there's one point in the movie where like he has to save her from the ballast room, and he says something like, "I only know two things about you: like you're in love with me, and you're almost 15."
It's just-
and it was just bad. It was just real. It was icky. I didn't
everything
like
about it was
Felt
just gross.
Felt weird.
This whole I would have gotten rid of the little girl. Just made this an adult cruise ship. I think they just wanted.
Why weren't there other children there?
I'm guessing they just wanted more stakes. Like put a kid there because there were no
didn't
children.
work.
There's no children.
It did not work.
No.
You had 0 stakes in this movie. You could have called Trump stakes and put it in order and waited the appropriate amount of time because there were no stakes.
When there's no stakes, we should just start calling it Trump stakes. I love it. Oh, so that's the end of Speed 2 Cruise Control.
That really is. Like, that's it. I can't talk about it
The
anymore.
movie's just. Oh, wait.
Okay.
She takes her driver's test. We didn't
Oh,
finish that story.
fuck.
She takes her driver's test. He goes, well, I don't know if you should really be driving. And she goes, no, it's fine. Let's go. The brake hits the gas, drives off camera,
Crash.
fade to black, and you hear a crash.
Move to New York.
Sandra Bullock might be dead.
Move to New York.
Sandra Bullock might have died at the end of Speed 2.
And if she didn't, she has to move here and maybe take that fiance or maybe not, because then at least the danger would be closer and less likely to be in a moving vehicle.
Or maybe like a carriage in Central Park. She's just like stuck on a horse, and then the
Because they
horse goes
already
above.
did Subway.
The horse goes below 20. Oh, this is just
If
dumb.
the horse goes below 20, the
just-
horse explodes.
Really, because a horse is like the only mode of transportation that has been used in this series. We're going to go back to the Old West.
It's going to be, oh my god, it's going to be one of those little bikes, and the guy has to keep pedaling with the thing attached.
It's just a Peloton. The most boring fucking
Or
thing
one of
ever.
those little Uber delivery vehicles they have now.
Oh, Jesus.
Speed 4 Uber.
Uber Control.
Speed 4, like, wait.
Speed 3 Uber is
Speed 3 Uber Fast.
uber fast. This broke our fucking brains.
Happy September yet again. I think September actually stands for having your brain sucked out through your eyes.
But again, you have to admit, it's kind of fun.
Oh,
to
it's fun.
Dunk on this movie.
It's fun to dunk on things.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I need a sequel lobotomy after having seen it. But also, I've had a rough day, so...
Yeah, it's been a rough one. But I'll go first in rating this. I'm going low.
Oh, are you?
I'm going
are you going
low.
low? Are you going... How low can you go?
I'm giving it... Oh, fuck. I'm giving it a 3.
Okay.
1, because Sandra Bullock's in it.
Sandy Bully?
2, because of...
No. No.
What?
Nope, never say that again.
What, Sandra Bullock?
Sandy Bully.
Oh, the Sandra Bully. Oh, the Sandra Bully.
Continue.
So I'm giving it another point for Mike Haggerty. And I'm giving it another point for Willem Dafoe. It gets 3 points just for the casting. Jason Patrick almost brought it down 1, but I feel sorry for him because he doesn't have much of a career. And he doesn't even have a K in his name. It's just Jason Patrick with a C. He
Poor
couldn't
guy.
afford the K.
He couldn't afford the last letter.
He couldn't afford the K.
R.I.P.
That's why he took Speed 2 Cruise Control.
And he still hasn't bought the K.
Oh, god damn it.
How
So,
deep are you in debt?
all right. What are we rating this, Mel?
1.
One?
It almost gets a point for Willem Dafoe.
Yes!
And what got it the rest of the way there is the surprisingly apt description of what it's like to be a black man and his relationship with the LAPD.
1 not!
1 not!
Oh, shit. Yeah, that was rough.
Like it gets a little boost because it was a tiny bit woke by accident.
Oh, that was sandpaper, toilet paper rough.
That was bad. That was the worst. That has to be the lowest I've rated a film.
I think it is.
It almost got a 0.
Yeah, I made you give it a 1 for Willem Dafoe, though.
Yes, because you were right.
'Cause he's the only
He can even do drunk acting well. It
Oh,
was
his
very
drunk
good.
acting was great in that one scene. Because he's Willem Dafoe.
Like, the thing is, you can half-ass drunk acting, and it's believable, and people see what you mean, but, like, actually doing it really convincingly, like, oh, I'm concerned about that man, that's actually pretty hard.
Yeah. So we got something for me for next week? September.
Oh, boy, do I. Adam, I can't believe you haven't seen this masterpiece, but we're gonna watch The Room.
Oh, shit.
This is the bad film.
You're going for the golden...
Except for, like, Birdemic and a couple of
I've
other
seen
things I could...
Birdemic.
Yeah, me too.
Birdemic's trash.
A couple of other things I can think of. The Room is trash in such a special, fun way.
I mean, I know The Room, and the reason I haven't watched it is I wanted to watch it with people.
Yes. No, that's important. Don't watch it by yourself. It's not
And
worth it.
the only time I saw some of it, it was on like Spike TV back, like when it first came to cable. And I came in the middle and I'm like, no, this isn't fair. I need to watch it.
Oh, you
straight
need to have
through.
the experience.
Yeah. Next week on the show, we are going to be covering the Tommy Wiseau masterwork, ?
It's, yep. He would
The
say so.
Room.
The Room. And this is me setting you up so we can watch The Disaster Artist later because I really love that movie.
Which I wanted to see too.
Yeah.
All right.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Folks, I have been Melanie Weir.
I've been Adam Mock, and we just made you watch.
A podcast.
See you next time.